Everybody knows the film Rocky, knows you from that. People may not know, may not remember, that won the Oscar for Best Film in 1977.
Right.
You started.
Imagine a world where the toughest battles aren't fought in the ring or on the battlefield, but in the shadows of Hollywood's brightest lights. Sylvester Stallone, the man who brought us Rocky and Rambo, has lived a life as intense off-screen as his characters on-screen. From a single mustard sandwich that sparked a decades-long feud to a $1 million demand that shattered a friendship, Stallone's journey through Hollywood is a story of betrayal, rivalry, and redemption. But what really happened behind the scenes? Why did these stars turn against each other, and what does it reveal about the dark side of fame? Join us as we uncover the untold stories of Stallone's most hated rivals and discover the truth behind the legends. Sylvester Stallone's name conjures images of grit, determination, and triumph against the odds. On screen, he's the boxer who rises from nothing, the soldier who defies entire armies. But off-screen, Stallone's life has been just as intense, marked by rivalries that could rival any blockbuster plot. These aren't fleeting spats. They're deep-seated feuds fueled by betrayal, clashing egos, and moments so bizarre they sound like fiction. From a mustard-stained mishap to a $1 million standoff, Stallone's battles with three Hollywood giants, Richard Gere, Bruce Willis, and Eddie Murphy, reveal the raw, unfiltered side of fame. Why did these stars turn against each other? Let's dive into the drama. Picture 1974, a time when Hollywood was a proving ground for hungry young actors. Sylvester Stallone and Richard Gere were among them, both cast in The Lords of Flatbush, a gritty drama about 1950s Brooklyn street gangs. For Stallone, this wasn't just another gig. He'd co-written the script, pouring his own experiences from Hell's Kitchen into the character of Stanley Rosiello, a tough guy with a hidden heart. This film was his chance to shine, to show he could lead. But what happened on set would spark a grudge that lingered for decades. Gere, unlike Stallone, came from a world of theater, where every move was calculated, every line dissected. Playing Chico Tyrell, a charismatic gang member, Gere brought a polished intensity that clashed with Stallone's raw, gut-driven style. The set was already tense. Low budget, tight deadlines, and big ambitions. Their differences weren't just professional, they were personal. Stallone once recalled Gere strutting around in his oversized motorcycle jacket like he was the baddest knight at the round table. Marca. Could two rising stars coexist under such pressure? The breaking point came during a routine scene. Crammed into a car with the cast, Gere was eating a mustard-heavy sandwich from craft services. A careless bite sent a glob of mustard splattering onto Stallone's pants. In another world, this might have been laughed off, but not here. Tensions were already sky-high, and Stallone snapped. Without a word, he elbowed Gere in the head and shoved him out of the car, sending him sprawling onto the pavement. The set froze. Was this a stunt gone wrong or a real fight? The truth was undeniable. These two couldn't share a frame. The director faced a brutal choice. Keeping both actors meant endless chaos. Letting one go meant costly reshoots. In the end, Stallone's passion for the project won out. Gere was fired, his role recast with Perry King, and his scenes scrapped. The official line was creative differences, but insiders knew better. It was the mustard incident that sealed Gere's fate, cinema blend. For Gere, it was a humiliating exit, a stain on his early career that Hollywood's gossip mill amplified. Stallone emerged as the set's alpha, but at a cost. His temper became legend, a double-edged sword that both protected and isolated him. Years later, both men soared to stardom. Stallone with Rocky and Rambo, Gere with American Gigolo and Pretty Woman. Yet, the bitterness from 1974 never faded. Reports suggest the feud persists even today, half a century later, Far Out magazine. A single sandwich had ignited a fire that burned through decades. But if a condiment could spark such drama, what happens when money and loyalty collide? Enter Bruce Willis, In the 1980s and 1990s, Stallone and Willis were action royalty. Stallone ruled with Rocky and Rambo, while Willis redefined the genre with Die Hard. They weren't just colleagues, they were friends, part of a tight-knit crew that dominated Hollywood's action scene. When Stallone launched The Expendables in 2010, it was a love letter to that era, uniting legends like himself, Willis, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Jet Li. The first film grossed $274 million worldwide, and its sequel soared to $314 million, proving old-school action still had a pulse. Box office mojo. Willis played Mr. Church, a CIA operative, in the first two films. His role wasn't huge, but his presence added gravitas. Behind the scenes, he seemed to embrace Stallone's vision of camaraderie and nostalgia. Fans loved it, and by the time The Expendables 3 was greenlit, expectations were sky high. Stallone was determined to make it bigger, recruiting Harrison Ford and dreaming of surprise cameos. Everything was set, until Willis's demands changed everything. In negotiations for the third film, Willis's team dropped a bombshell: $4 million for 4 days of work, or $1 million a day. In Hollywood, big paychecks aren't uncommon, but this felt different. The Expendables thrived because its stars took pay cuts, prioritizing passion over profit. Willis's demand struck Stallone as a betrayal, a slap in the face to the brotherhood they'd built, the Things. Negotiations stalled. Willis wouldn't budge, and Stallone faced a choice: cave or stand firm. He chose the latter. Willis was out. Harrison Ford stepped in, bringing professionalism and enthusiasm that contrasted sharply with Willis's stance. But Stallone wasn't done. In a rare move for Hollywood, he aired his grievances publicly, tweeting, "Greedy and lazy. A sure formula for career failure. Express UK." The post sent shockwaves through the industry, painting Willis as money-driven and tarnishing his everyman charm. The Expendables 3 still earned $214 million, but the franchise's heart seemed fractured, its sense of unity dimmed. Interestingly, Stallone later hinted at reconciliation, tweeting in 2014 that he'd made up with Willis, calling him a stand-up guy, online. Yet the feud's impact lingered, a reminder that even the strongest bonds can break under pressure. But if Stallone thought Willis's greed was bad, what came next would cut even deeper. In the late 1980s, Stallone and Eddie Murphy were Hollywood's golden boys. Stallone was the action king, while Murphy owned comedy with Beverly Hills Cop and Coming to America. Beyond the spotlight, they shared a rare bond. They partied together, swapped stories at glitzy events, and cheered each other's successes without the usual Hollywood pretense. Their friendship was real, or so it seemed. Sylvester Stallone's life reads like a script he might have written himself, gritty, emotional, and full of unexpected twists. After navigating betrayals and clashes with stars like Richard Gere and Bruce Willis, you'd think he'd seen it all. But in the late 1980s, a rumor would test his heart in ways no boxing ring ever could. What happens when the person you trust most becomes the center of a scandal that rocks your world? The answer lies in a friendship that once lit up Hollywood but burned out in a blaze of whispers. In the neon glow of the 1980s, Stallone and Eddie Murphy were Hollywood's golden duo. Stallone, the muscle-bound hero of Rocky and Rambo, and Murphy, the comedic genius behind Beverly Hills Cop and Coming to America, shared a bond forged in their shared climb from humble roots. They weren't just red carpet pals, they were dreamers who swapped stories at late-night parties, cheered each other's box office wins, and even toyed with starring together in a third Godfather film alongside Al Pacino, a project that never saw the light of day. Their friendship was a rare gem in a town where loyalty is often just a script line. But could it withstand the pressure of Hollywood's rumor mill? The trouble began in 1987 on the set of Beverly Hills Cop 2. Stallone's then-wife, Brigitte Nielsen, a towering Danish actress known for Rocky IV, was cast as the villain Carla Frey. Her presence was magnetic, but it also drew whispers. Long hours, close quarters, and the high-energy chaos of a film set can blur lines, and soon, rumors swirled that Nielsen and Murphy were getting too close. A lingering glance, a shared laugh that lasted a beat too long. Suddenly, every interaction was under scrutiny. In Hollywood, where gossip travels faster than a blockbuster's opening weekend, these whispers became front-page news. But what was the truth behind the headlines? For Stallone, the rumors were a gut punch. Married to Nielsen since 1985, he was fiercely protective of his family, and the idea that his friend might be involved with his wife was unthinkable. The tabloids didn't help, splashing speculative stories across their pages, each one chipping away at his trust. Was it just harmless set chemistry or something more? The uncertainty gnawed at him, turning every whispered rumor into a personal betrayal. In a world where image is everything, how do you separate fact from fiction when your heart's on the line? Unable to let it fester, Stallone did what few stars would dare. He skipped the publicists, ignored the PR playbook, and picked up the phone. In a call that crackled with raw emotion, he confronted Murphy directly. "What's going on between you and Sasha?" he demanded, using Nielsen's nickname. The question hung heavy, a test of a friendship that had once seemed unbreakable. Murphy, caught off guard, denied any wrongdoing. "Down, brother, I didn't touch your wife," he reportedly said, his voice firm but defensive, Far Out magazine. But words alone couldn't mend the fracture. The fallout was swift and brutal. The easy camaraderie that defined their friendship vanished. No more late-night calls, no more shared laughs at industry galas. If they crossed paths at an event, they stayed on opposite sides of the room, the warmth replaced by an icy distance. The media, sensing blood in the water, turned their story into a spectacle, pitting the action hero against the comedy king. Headlines compared their box office hauls as if their personal rift was just another Hollywood rivalry. By the time Stallone and Nielsen divorced later that year, the damage was done. Murphy later reflected on the loss with a heavy heart. "It's sad that things unraveled so quickly," he said in a 1989 Rolling Stone interview. "Years of friendship gone because of rumors." Rolling Stone. Both men moved forward, their careers soaring despite the personal cost. Stallone kept churning out action hits while Murphy continued to dominate comedy. But the connection they once shared, a bond built on shared dreams and mutual respect, was lost forever. In Hollywood, where trust is as fragile as a script page, their story became a poignant reminder. Fame can't shield you from heartbreak. Yet, if Stallone thought this was the worst of his battles, he was about to face a clash that would test his creative soul. By 1982, Stallone was no longer the struggling actor cleaning lion cages. He was a global star, thanks to Rocky. His next project, First Blood, was a passion project, introducing John Rambo, a Vietnam veteran wrestling with PTSD, and a society that had turned its back on him. This wasn't just another action flick, it was a story with heart, a chance to say something real about the cost of war. Stallone poured himself into the role, determined to protect his vision. But when a Hollywood legend stepped onto the set, everything changed. Could Stallone hold his ground against one of the industry's biggest icons? Kirk Douglas, with a career spanning Spartacus and Paths of Glory, was cinematic royalty. When he signed on to play Colonel Sam Trotman, Rambo's mentor and the one man who understood his pain, it seemed like a dream casting. Douglas's gravitas could elevate the film, giving it the weight Stallone craved. But from the first day, tensions simmered. Douglas had read David Morrell's novel, where Rambo meets a tragic end, and he was adamant about keeping that ending. "It's more dramatic," he argued, believing Trotman killing Rambo would give the film a gut-wrenching climax, and a spotlight for his own performance, Entertainment Weekly. Stallone saw it differently. He envisioned Rambo as the start of something bigger, a character who could endure and inspire. A tragic ending didn't fit his vision, or the franchise potential he saw. Director Ted Kotcheff was caught in the middle, torn between a rising star and a seasoned icon. Douglas wasn't subtle, often referring to himself in the third person. Kirk Douglas wouldn't say this line, he'd declare, pushing rewrites that centered his character, Express UK. The set became a battleground, with long nights of script debates and mounting frustration. Was this a clash of egos or a fight for the soul of the film? It all began in 1977 at the Golden Globe Awards. Stallone, riding the wave of Rocky's success, arrived expecting to claim Best Actor and Best Screenplay. He'd transformed from a near-penniless actor to a global star, and this night was meant to crown his ascent. Instead, Rocky went home empty-handed. The spotlight fell on Arnold Schwarzenegger, a bodybuilder-turned-actor whose towering frame and Austrian accent commanded attention. Winning New Star of the Year for Stay Hungry, Schwarzenegger approached Stallone with a bold introduction, reportedly chuckling as Rocky lost each category. The sting of defeat was too much. Stallone, in a flash of frustration, flung a bouquet of flowers at Schwarzenegger's head. That moment lit the fuse for a rivalry that would captivate Hollywood for years. The 1980s turned into their personal coliseum. Stallone, already a legend with Rocky, unleashed John Rambo in First Blood, a raw portrayal of a Vietnam veteran's struggle that struck a cultural nerve. Rambo wasn't just muscle, he was heart, a symbol of resilience that resonated deeply. Schwarzenegger, refusing to cede ground, roared back with Conan the Barbarian, his chiseled physique dominating the screen. Then came The Terminator, a sci-fi masterpiece that cemented him as Stallone's rival. Each man escalated the stakes. Stallone's Rambo. First Blood Part 2 showcased a physique honed to perfection, while Schwarzenegger's Predator pitted him against an alien foe in a jungle showdown. As Schwarzenegger later admitted, "We took competitiveness to the extreme. Better bodies, more kills, bigger guns, variety." Their films weren't just movies, they were declarations of supremacy. But their feud wasn't confined to celluloid. It bled into cunning maneuvers and public jabs. In Twins, Schwarzenegger's character sneered at a Rambo poster, a sly dig at Stallone's icon. Stallone hit back in Tango and Cash, where his character pummeled a prisoner resembling Schwarzenegger, not once, but twice. The rivalry's peak came in 1992 with Stop, or My Mom Will Shoot. Schwarzenegger, sensing a weak script, feigned interest, knowing Stallone's competitive streak would compel him to seize the role. Stallone did, and the film flopped spectacularly, earning scathing reviews and a mere $70 million worldwide against expectations. Box Office Mojo. Schwarzenegger later revealed the ruse, a masterstroke of Hollywood gamesmanship. Yet even titans stumble. Schwarzenegger's own comedy venture, Junior, tanked just as hard, grossing only $108 million globally. Box Office Mojo. These shared failures began to dull their rivalry's edge. A turning point came when both invested in Planet Hollywood, traveling together to promote the venture. Long flights and shared goals forged a bond, transforming foes into allies. By the time they shared the screen in The Expendables and Escape Plan, their rivalry was a fond memory, replaced by mutual admiration. Schwarzenegger reflected, "We became fantastic friends. Sly's a great human being." Variety. Stallone's journey from obscurity to opulence mirrors his on-screen triumphs. His car collection, featuring a 1971 Plymouth Barracuda and a 1968 Ford Mustang GT, reflects his love for American classics. His watches, including Rolex and Patek Philippe, exude timeless luxury. Real estate holdings include a $35 million Hidden Hills estate and a $16.5 million Florida mansion. A Gulfstream G550 jet facilitates his global ventures. Beyond acting, Stallone's production company, Balboa Productions, and brand deals with Pepsi and EA Sports showcase his business savvy. Comprehensive insurance policies safeguard his health and assets. His financial lesson? Diversify relentlessly. Stallone's reinventions from actor to producer underscore adaptability's power. Sylvester Stallone's Hollywood saga is as gripping as any of his films. From a mustard-stained clash with Richard Gere to a million-dollar fallout with Bruce Willis, his feuds with Eddie Murphy, Kirk Douglas, and Arnold Schwarzenegger paint a vivid picture of a man who fought as fiercely off-screen as he did on. These weren't just petty squabbles. They were battles that tested his heart, shaped his career, and redefined action cinema. Each conflict, whether sparked by a sandwich or a script, revealed the raw humanity behind the glitz of fame, showing that even legends face betrayal, ego, and heartbreak. These stories peel back the curtain on Hollywood's soul, where ambition and creativity collide with personal loyalties. Stallone's ability to navigate these storms, turning rivals like Schwarzenegger into friends, speaks to his enduring strength. His journey reminds us that fame doesn't shield you from pain, it amplifies it. Yet through every setback, Stallone's passion and grit shone through, proving that true success lies in rising after every fall. What did you make of these Hollywood feuds? Were you surprised by the stories behind Stallone's rivalries? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Maybe share your favorite Stallone moment, or how these tales changed your view of Tinseltown. Let's unpack the impact of these clashes together and explore what they reveal about the industry we love. If Stallone's story hooked you, there's more to come. We're diving into the untold dramas of other stars, secrets, rivalries, and moments that shaped their legacies. Stick with us for more cinematic journeys into the lives of your favorite icons. Sylvester Stallone's legacy isn't just in the films he created, but in the battles he endured. Like Rocky climbing those steps, he faced every challenge head-on, proving that in Hollywood, as in life, true strength is about getting back up no matter how hard you're hit.